Settle in and grab a book, a comfy chair, your favorite nook with Kate and Court. Yeah, it's the Cozy Corner.
Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Court. Welcome to Kate and Court's Cozy Corner Romance Readers.
This is a podcast for lovers of romance and romantasy novels who want to go on a deep dive into their favorite genre. Honest discussions and salacious details, giving romance books the respect they deserve. We are two friends, actors, moms, and romance readers who like a bit of spice and everything nice in their books.
As we like to say, you don't need spice for a book to be good. Well, you don't need running shoes to run, but they sure do help.
You know the drill. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to our podcast.
What am I doing? Hi.
It's a game now. It's officially like a thing we do.
That was so unintentional. I can't.
I didn't even do it to you on purpose either. I was like, here we go. You're like, yep.
I didn't even see the 5-4. Like, I didn't even register the countdown yet. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways,
it's counting
fine.
down.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and we do a little thing and she's changing her lighting, guys. And I'm like, yeah, that looks good. And then I was like, wow, we've gotten really good at like talking in 5 seconds before we start. And then we start and I'm like, hi. And Court's like, okay, I got it. Like, she's like ready to. Anyway, I just feel like that's our opening.
That's how we do it. That's fine.
That's how we open.
That's great. Welcome, everyone.
It gives everybody welcome. Welcome.
We're jumping in from life as everyone else is. Oh my gosh. But Kate, I'm so excited about the books we are talking about today. We are finally digging into the Bloodwing Academy books, which I've been pushing this on Kate because the third one was coming out and she hadn't read them yet. And I read them last year, right before they got traditionally published. And then I found out it was one of those third one's coming and then the book gets picked up. And then it's like, now you're waiting a year to find out what happens, which is fine.
Right.
It's worth the wait. I'm very happy for Briar, Boleyn, the author. But I have been waiting a minute. Yeah, I have been
every
waiting
time
a
we're
minute.
so thrilled for the authors. Like, that's the dream.
Yes, it's the
That
dream.
is the goal.
But this was one, I was like, no, we have to read it. And then Kate, because we're so busy and reading so many books, and she was pushing it. She's like, maybe I'll just like quick read and I can dive into the third. I'm like, no, you need to read these books. Trust me. I'm like, you'll read them fast. They're small books. Just get in there. And she's like, okay, well, maybe I can just read the first. And she kept trying to find reasons that she could just read the third book, like we do with romances so often.
I was trying to wiggle out of this because you have to think I'm playing, like, we're reading constantly. You see how much and we love it because we love it. Yeah, it's great. But then Court's like, hey, play catch up on a romantasy series. And I was like, girl, you're asking me to read 2 extra books to get to the third book that's releasing. I was like, this better be good.
Yes.
And then I did. I kept being like, it's okay, I'll find a way. And I learned in university that this is like something that I do to kind of like calm myself down and be able to commit to doing something. Or, in university, you don't really have a choice. You have to get the paper in.
Yes.
Like to be like to find a way that I could find a shortcut in case down to the wire.
Yes.
I'm totally fucked and I just have to like wing it. And then I will do all the steps and go the long way around. I just need to know where the shortcut is. in case they're like, you have to be at the finish line now. And I'm like, shit, I just need to like tuck and roll. I used to tell myself, and it's funny because I do it now in other ways, but in university, I used to tell myself, well, the paper's due on this day, so it will be done.
Yeah, we'll get there. It's just like
it'll happen. It just to like get rid of like the like anxiety of how I was going to achieve, getting
that's everyone.
Because I was an English lit major, so it was the same. It was like reading a ton of books and then like breaking them down and writing a ton of papers. And it gets to the point where you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna do all of this, but the due date will come and I know I'll hand something in.
Yes. Procrastination is like a big part of university, college, of life for me in school always. But I need a deadline. And then I can like get there. But that's what she was feeling in this book, which is fine. But I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, trust me, you're gonna want to actually read it. And
I know.
the one great thing I will say about the series, there's a bunch of trigger warnings that I'm gonna call out before we get into it. That the author calls out for this book.
Yeah, why don't you do those right now so we
Yes.
don't forget?
Yeah.
Because we'll get caught up and then.
So it is a romantasy very much, but it's a little bit like a hybrid dark romantasy. It's dark as in there's a lot of trigger warnings, but it's not like crazy. You're not going into like real dark territory by any means. It's still dark light.
You're not,
if that makes sense.
You're not going alchemized. You're not going Daggermouth.
No,
but
it does have triggers.
It really does.
It does.
I'm excited.
It's darker than you expect. So, the trigger warnings: abduction, assault, blood and gore, blood play, bullying, child abuse, death, dubious consent, emotional manipulation, graphic violence, injury, threat to animals, mental health issues, murder, non-consensual blood feeding, non-consensual mind control, physical abuse, power imbalance, psychological abuse, sexual assault, threat of, strong sexual tension, substance abuse. I didn't know strong sexual tension had to be a warning. Suicidal ideation and torture. Well, I'm turned on. So we'll just...
Okay. That to me was like when you see commercials for like, hey, if you have this illness, take this pill. And then they're like, but these side effects may happen. And Bex always comments on them. He's like, why would you take the pill to fix one thing and get 10 other pills?
Yep. Yeah. And I get it, the authors have to cover themselves.
We just were like, don't worry, it's not too dark. And then you read that list and I was like, or we're really fucked up.
Right? Well, I will say this book did surprise me when I first read it, actually, with how dark it went. Because I hadn't, I'd been reading other romances and I hadn't dove in like that with other, like, it's darker than, say, A Court of Thorn and Roses or the other. Because of the non-consensual things that happen in it. It is much darker. And it took me a minute to be like, oh, it's this, but I still liked it and I loved it. I think the series is fantastic. It kind of has, you haven't read it yet, but it's very much has like early Zodiac Academy vibes. In that it is an academy setting and the bullying.
This is my Zodiac Academy. There's already like 9 Zodiac Academy books. And I realized I'm like,
oh, this is not your Zodiac Academy. Trust me. That is a different thing one day down the road for you. It's a fever dream, but like worth having. It's a whole other thing. This doesn't compare. Like they're not comparative at all.
There's some, but they are in that they're Dark Academy books.
Exactly.
They're the same trope.
That's the only thing is that they're Dark Academy and they both have early Zodiac Academy has even more of like the bullying trope, like bullying romance, which some people like, some people don't. So if you're not a bully romance person, this is not for you. And either is Zodiac Academy, honestly. But they are both fantastic.
They are, and there's some cool stuff in this. So I didn't love the bully romance element of it.
No.
I did love, and I think because it's come up a few times and it really hit me this time, I have started to really love the sort of the trope in romantasy is maybe, or the theme that comes up a lot. I think it's more of a theme that comes up a lot in romantasy of like, you have to learn to shield your mind from others getting in and manipulating your thoughts or digging through your memories and, from these like beings getting in there and just taking what they want or taking over your mind. I love this messaging because I think we need to do this in real life. I think this is mindset work. I think this is meditation. I think it is critical that we do this even in like, in all the time. We weren't really raised so much with it. I know that our kids are being raised with a lot more social emotional learning
and
which
mindfulness.
Is really cool.
Yeah.
And mindfulness. And that's what this is, but taken to like a supernatural level in these books, to a totally different degree. But it plays into your personal world, because if you just let like, if you're just like doom scrolling, or you just let like the news media into your brain constantly, or other people who are like walking around like, ugh, everything sucks and all that, you get really dragged down. And I was like, oh, it like actually affects my energy but I don't really kind of naturally live in that place, even though I'm very aware of what's going on. And I'm like, what are the solutions to, like certain problems and everything, and actively doing things in my community to help, but you don't have to be like mind controlled, or you don't have to think the way that everybody seems to like want you to think,
Yeah.
because of, and so I just think that's a really cool element that comes up in these romantasy books a lot, where the FMC is taught to strengthen her own mind so that so that she can battle, like so that she can survive,
Mhm.
in these worlds. It's just fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's a really cool part of romantasies that we do see in so many books as part of it.
Mhm.
This one is like another level. I guess I should give the breakdown of the actual stories. So before we
Oh,
dive
right.
into it, we're like deep in and we're like haven't even talked about what the
Hey,
book is about.
yeah.
So
Let's get really quickly though, let everybody know today we are talking about books 1 and 2.
that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
And okay, great. Court is right though. When she was like convincing me, she's like, "We're gonna read these 2 and you're gonna catch up." And I was like, "I can't read 2." And I'm thinking like 2 like Sarah J. Maas, right? No, these are not huge, which is nice. They kind of like as one
They're
book
almost
would
one
be
book
like,
in two. Like they are
yeah,
worthwhiles each book. Like you're getting your money's worth,
they
but they
are.
they read as one. They really dive right
Mhm.
into it. Like it ends and picks up right away. And
I also
they're
think the
very
length
digestible.
reads as one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
length reads
length
as
reads as
one,
like
and they're
one.
very
Yeah.
digestible books, even though they are a dark romantasy. So we decided to do book 1 and 2 together, and then we'll do book 3 on another time when Kata's had a chance to read it, and we can come back. So that's where we're at right now. We're gonna do books 1 and 2, Wings of Blood and Bonds of
Blood
Fury.
the bond that
The Bond That
burns.
Burns. Thank you. I get the
I
3 titles of
remember
this,
the
and Wings of
title
Bind
being
is the
like,
3rd one. Yes.
the title of the second one is very telling.
Yes, yes, exactly. So we'll try to stay on point of where. So the first
Yeah.
book is about. It kind of starts off with our main female character, Madeira,
Mhm. Medra.
Medra. Okay, Medra, kind of awakening into this war zone. There's like dead bodies all around her, and this like beautiful prince man in an army is there. She's like naked, stripped down,
Right. On a pile,
on a
naked on a
pile of
pile of
bodies.
bodies.
Like it just
That's
opens
the
with a
opening.
wham. Here we are. And they're like, "Who are you?" They've never seen a creature like them, like her. Because she's
Mhm.
tall, she's got elongated ears. Basically, she's Fae. This is what the deal is.
Yeah.
She's Fae, and she's woken up in a world of vampires. And
Mhm.
they take her to the prince's uncle, Victor.
Sorry. That's the log line right there.
Yeah,
That's like, okay, I'll read it.
exactly. That's basically he brings her to his uncle who is like, "You are a dragon rider. They are extinct from our world. We haven't seen in centuries. All the dragons are gone. They have not seen a fae, or as they call 'em, dragon rider, in years, or lifetimes, because they're all hundreds of years old." So he's like, basically decides we're going to keep her and bonds her as a betrothed to his nephew, Blake, who is the guy that had found
Mhm.
her, the gorgeous prince, but who is like an asshole of all
Yeah.
assholes, like true
Yeah.
enemies to lover, also a trope in this. And he's like, you are now in their triad, which is common in vampires. They go for 3. And it doesn't have to be like a guy and 2 women. It can be 2 men and a woman. It can be like, but that's their common way with their betrothals is to end up in a triad. And
Mhm.
they're like, you are now the second betrothed to him, and you will attend Bloodwing, which you are so fortunate because people work their whole life to get into this Bloodwing Academy. And she's just being thrown in. And she's basically like, what the fuck? Like, she's honestly like
Yeah.
stolen, kidnapped, this is all consent thing, and told, now you go to school here, and now you're betrothed to this guy. And she's like
I mean,
trying to
honestly,
survive and fight it the whole time.
all of that happens before girl gets a shower.
Yeah.
Like,
Like it's very quick. She's just
yeah.
thrust into this world.
Mhm.
And then it's kind of the story of her like figuring out the academy the first day. The other girl, Reagan, who is the first betrothed, obviously hates her. It's like thinks she's disgusting, this blooded person because she's a vampire. So everyone else is vampires, and then there's the bloodred,
Blightborn.
blightborn. Oh my gosh, I'm mixing up so many
Blightborn.
books, guys. I'm sorry. The
No, that's
blightborn,
okay.
who are essentially human, or in this case,
Yeah.
fae. And it's the world where the vampires rule. They have Blightborn that come to the academy, but like if a highborn or vampire wants to drink from you or enthrall you or make you do anything they want, they're basically allowed you with very loose rules around it. Is essentially this world.
Yeah.
They are first, and then everyone else is below them. And right away, they use mind control, Reagan does, to embarrass her, and Blake sets her up in a self-defense class to get the crap beaten out of her, like, purposely, which then the person he asks goes farther than he wanted because, of course, that always happens. And she actually
Mhm.
defends herself really well. Like, she's
I loved
surprisingly
that
able to
moment.
defend herself. She's
I
got
was
some
like, "Oh,
warrior
thank
in
God."
her. Yeah.
I because we jumped in so fast, in this,
Mhm.
I needed her to be able to kick ass. Like, I needed her to I didn't I was I probably would've been like, "No." I was like, I was not gonna go on the ride of her getting strong enough as well, you know?
Yeah.
I needed her to be strong in her own way from her world that she came from before,
Yeah.
um, and be in this world to support because like we said, it opens with a bang, and
Mhm.
then you're at this academy, and then she's being manipulated. Reagan really manipulates her, that first day. She's sort of like, oh, Reagan's all like, "Oh, I'll help you, like, get your classes and everything and all this stuff." And then she shows up at the wrong classes at the wrong
Yes.
time and asks the wrong questions and everything that Reagan seemed so nice. And then as you as the reader know,
Yeah.
you're like,
She's
there's
a
no
mean girl.
way that Reagan, yeah, she's a total mean girl, totally manipulating you. And then she also very quickly becomes friends with in that time with Florence and Naveen, who become her two friends who
Yes,
are
they're both
Blightborn.
Blightborn. Florence is,
But
like, the smartest Blightborn ever to exist, can't decide her major, is just, like, loved by every teacher, this amazing,
yeah.
smart girl, and then Naveen is their other friend that has a crush on Florence that we get to know.
Yes, and Naveen is a dwarf.
And he's a dwarf,
So this is
yes, which is another
being
part.
Blightborn doesn't mean that you're human, it just
No.
means that you're not a vampire.
Yes, exactly, and there's
Yeah.
different levels, although they really mostly talk about dragon riders, dwarfs, and humans, essentially. That's
Yes,
kind of the
yes, yes.
3
Yeah, dragon
types.
riders, dwarfs, humans, and vampires. Like, we're not I don't think we brought in any
I don't
other
think so. I might be
we didn't
wrong. I
bring
mean,
in
there
any
wolf a wolf
witches.
does come in, so
Oh,
who
that's right,
knows?
an
But
animorph type of thing
yeah.
does come in there. Yeah, but that's book 2.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's this Court, you've covered the setup
Yeah,
of book
that's kind of
1.
the setup of book 1, and it's kind of going along with her. She's figuring out this is really why we talk about both books, because it is going along with her in the first book of figuring out Bloodwing Academy,
Yeah,
building this
which
relationship
means
with Blake,
building the world,
building the world,
yeah.
and then right when it kinda hits its high point is when it ends, and then we go into book 2.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah, there's
why.
not really there is that battle there is the,
Yes, the consort battle. So the book is building towards she's going to have a consort battle, which is
Mhm.
the 2 in the triad, the 2 consorts of the Artron are supposed to work together to win the consort battle. That's the concept. But
Yeah.
Reagan is like, no, I am not helping her. She plans to try to kill her. She sets her up. She puts this horrible crown on her that shows who she loves most. And they turn poor Naveen and to kill him and turn him into this awful spider thing she has to kill. Like it's like torture in the worst
I
way, messing with her mind. But before
It really
that,
was.
there's a whole that's the end of the book. So before we
Yeah.
really go into that, her relationship with Blake,
Mhm.
I love the slow burn of it. Like they really, really pull that out. And it continues into the second book. Like it's never
This In the first book, the slow burn of it or kind of this, like, yeah, they were both she was like, "Listen, I'm not just gonna bow to you." And he's like, "You have to."
Yes,
She's like,
he's
"No, I
so
don't."
set and is like it's very much like a on people that are very set in their in I'm forget it's not macho. Like
His dominance or,
yeah,
like,
like the
his
patriarchal like way of like
yes, in the
men.
patriarchy. He's like, "This is
Yes.
how it works.
This is how it works.
You
This is
have to
your
play by these
role. You
rules.
should be in his world. Like she
You should
should be
be
so
honored."
excited and honored to be his consort. Like the fact that
Yeah.
she rejects it, like it just doesn't compute for him. He
No.
truly doesn't understand why she's not bowing at his feet. And at one moment they do have a moment they share
And
and finally kiss. And even that
yeah.
she like sees it almost like she's growing tender for him, but sees it as a moment of weakness.
Yeah, because he is treating her like
Like
shit.
garbage because he
Like,
doesn't get it. He truly doesn't. He's like,
I
"What?"
mean, he's really bullying her, and I so that part I was kinda like, "Ugh," like, I was not getting into this guy, but then when I was in her brain and she was kind of, like, in her perspective and everything, I was like, "Oh, but I am having that," like then I was like, "Oh, I'm getting her, like, weird attraction to him, and I'm also getting why she was having this feeling of, like, this is weird. Like, why am I attracted to
Yeah.
him? You know, like, why is it? And then even myself, I was like, oh, but now it's like kind of hot. And I was also like, he's such a fucking dick. Like,
Listen, he's not it's not a healthy relationship by any means. It's
no,
not something I think in real life you should go after or set your
no,
expectations for, but it works in this book,
it
and
works in this book.
it's
Yes.
spicy, it builds up that sexual tension, like the
Oh,
trigger warning so well, and
yeah.
you do find
Like,
yourself rooting for it. Even Kanata,
you do.
uh, what's his name?
Cage Tanaka.
Cage Tanaka, I combined his name into one.
Yeah.
Cage Tanaka, is the prince of one of the other houses, so there's, like, the 4 main houses in this world,
Yeah.
and he's one of the opposing houses, and he starts to show interest in her as
Mhm.
well, which makes Blake super jealous, but, like, she's never had a
Yeah.
choice. It was just like, "You are now with him,"
No.
because the uncle wanted to control the Dragon Rider. So she
Yeah.
starts flirting with Cage a bit. He asks her to the dance that Blake
Mhm.
didn't bring her to and also didn't bring Regan, but she sees him with Regan and thinks that he's choosing her, which Regan
Yeah.
purposely sets up. And so she's got little feelings of jealousy, so there's something there because they have
Mhm.
shared that kiss and they've shared a couple moments in, like, the tunnels, and
Mhm.
he's the one redeeming thing about Blake is he doesn't feed on, Bloodborne for sport or just kill them willy-nilly, like, he only pays for it because he only wants it from people
Yeah.
who are willing and paying. He doesn't enthrall anyone, like, he does
Yeah.
reject a little bit the usual type
Yes, and
of
that's
high
where
blood.
that's where as the reader I was like, "Okay, like he's not the worst. He's comes from a really bad situation. Like his uncle is the worst and does abuse him and his
Oh,
brother is
so
the
abusive. The 2
worst."
men in his life are literally the
And
worst, and his dad has killed himself,
yeah,
which we really
yeah,
think the uncle killed the dad and just said that it was
yeah,
suicide,
yeah,
and his mom's been
yeah,
put in an asylum somewhere, which also we think is just the uncle has her captured somewhere and has been torturing her.
yeah, yeah. We know this.
Yeah, that's
We
pretty
know
much
this to be true.
what is happening. So, I mean, he has not had good.
No, and he's trying to fight it, and you can see that there is like good in him.
Yes.
So as you're reading this book, you're like, oh, okay, and it's turning you on. I will continue to say though that this is not a healthy thing in real life. You cannot change the damaged guy. Do not go there
Don't let
for longer
yourself
than like
be the
a
one.
night or
Yes.
two.
Yes.
Like if you want to have a little fun with the bad boy, great, but you're not going to change him. Okay. I always have
Yes.
to put that PSA out there because
Yeah.
there's some dangerous messaging in these books.
100%.
If you're like younger, you know.
Yes, thinking that's what you should
Um
go for. You should not. But
yeah.
in
No.
here, we do love it, and
It's
so
we
they
love it and
get to
it's
the
so
battle,
hot.
and
Yeah.
basically, because 'cause I'm shifting us so we can get to second book 2, she has to fight she has to kill her friend Naveen, which is the worst thing ever. He's been turned this
I
horrible spider,
I
which is
actually
very
thought it was a
upsetting.
dream. I like didn't believe it.
I
I was like, it can't
know.
be. It can't be. It can't
It
be.
was
And
so cruel, like and that's one thing I respect of Brett, she doesn't hide away from it, like, she does go there, she
no.
does, like, ugh,
Yeah.
that you could
Yeah.
sidestep in a book like this, but she doesn't, she really,
You
like,
could.
digs in and you're like, "Oh, man," like, the heartbreak and poor Florence was like, he had confessed that he
Yes.
loved her, and she was trying to figure it out, and in all this
Yes.
little creature, Neville, has appeared. He's a fluffin that, Blake's sister, who's really a child, Blake tried to turn to save her life, and it didn't work
Yeah.
out, and so she's this, like, rabid vampire that attacks things
Yeah.
and can't be controlled.
Child vampire who
Yes.
attacks things.
She attacked the Fluffin, and they saved him, and now he's, like, bonded to Florence and Blake.
You guys, a fluffin is a little creature that's like part dog, like a sort of a dog slash fox with the face of an owl. It's like the
Yes.
cutest animal with the cutest animal name you could ever
Yes.
think of.
Yes, 100%. And so this
I
Fluffin's,
love
like,
Neville.
in the world now, Neville. We love him, and we kind of find out more about what Fluffins do as the book goes on
We
into
do
book
in book
2.
in book two, we really get into the
Yeah.
fluffin. Um, before we get to the consort games though, let's do our peak spice moment in this book because I think it comes before the consort games. And it's the tunnels.
Yes.
And yeah, it is before the concert games. And she follows him through the tunnels a couple times. She follows him through these tunnels and then winds up like at a balcony overlooking a crazy vampire ceremony that she had just
Yes.
heard of
And she wasn't
with
supposed
the
to witness.
Blightborn that she wasn't supposed to witness. But that is such a fucking hot scene.
Yes, because it's supposed to be before the step. Also, again with the darkness, though, like this is supposed to be something
It's
Blightborn
so
fight
dark.
and want to do, to be the volunteer, to be this thing that sets off the consort games. And what they discover is that it's like a full draining of and killing of a Blightborn, which it's like this
Which they
horrible
didn't know.
They didn't know. They didn't know. So when they went to see it, they had no idea what they were in for.
And so they didn't go to see it on purpose. Blake went to see it. She followed Blake.
Yes.
Then they're there and they're looking over the balcony and they've kind of, and they're doing the whole thing. And then this like naked, like this Blightborn chick is like on a throne on a vampire, who's in charge of the whole thing, who has a mask on. There's a bunch of other vampires with masks on, like watching this whole thing go down. And then she's getting bit. This Blightborn girl's getting bit. And then it's turning like really sensual and her clothes are coming off. And Medra's watching and she's getting turned on. And Blake's like, oh, you like this, don't you? You like to watch. And the whole thing. And then he's like playing with her. And then like down below, the two who are on the throne like start having sex while and like it's so hot.
Becomes
and
like a big orgy, basically. Like,
and then it turns into like a massive orgy,
Yes.
down below them. And then he like totally gets her off and like she's loving it, watching this while he's like behind her. And like it is hot. Like
Very
it is
hot.
so hot.
Yes.
And then they like string up, like as she comes and it's all one of them, they're like having this moment. And then they string up the Blightborn girl by her feet and drain all the blood out of her into a thing. And you go from like so turned on to like
so horrified. And it's such a great juxtaposition that she does in this moment. And that is kind of the feel of the book series. Genuinely. Whenever you usually these peak moments of being turned on with it. And then it goes to reality, which is this world. Oh my gosh. It was just, you don't see it written like that very often.
You don't.
Where it takes such a hard turn. And
Court.
Okay.
The pumpkin spice level on this one is high.
It's interesting though, because it doesn't, like my memory, my feeling of it isn't that it is, because I think because it switches so fast, it like tags at the scene.
Yeah, but it's like,
so to me, book 2 has so much more spice. But
book
that
2 has more spice that's normal. This spice is like, this is like piquant. You know what I mean? This, I would give this, because of that scene alone, I would give this book a 4 pumpkin.
Okay.
Because
a
of
sassy pumpkin.
All the things that go on in that scene. And then, because up until then, you're just kind of getting like teased, but that is like really heavy duty and pretty wild. And I loved it.
I loved
it. Was
it.
really
I'm
fun,
still at a 3.5 with it, but I think
book 2 is actually a 3.5, but it has more like traditional sort of hot sex scenes.
Yeah.
But it's not as like wild.
I guess for me, I didn't feel as like, I felt fine on the bus with it. So, you know what I mean? Like I always go 4s, like if I'm on the bus reading it, like, oh God, I have to like hide my face and go, like that's where I usually, for me. And I was okay reading it still. Like I loved it. It's hot. It's hot.
I see what you're saying. I could have read that. I could have read it on the bus. But I just sort of wonder with like the whole orgy thing going on and everything. I mean,
it's great
like
that is a 4 for you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great. They're like, yeah, this is a fucking 4. I think that's awesome.
Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like also, like if somebody's, I will put it at 4. You can put it at 3.5. So then people who are listening, maybe who are a little bit more like, okay, I haven't read a lot of this so far. And then the next book for me, which has more like, regular sex scenes in it, but because it's more like normal, I'm like, 3.5.
Yeah, exactly. So it all just depends.
Yeah.
On which way, what's getting you going. But yeah, it's a 3.5, 4 for sure. It definitely brings the spice. It's not as spice light, which is such a great part of this book because you go on such a ride, but then you do get the romantasy part of it nice and heavy. And it's worth the gut-wrenching that happens to you too, because you get to get to that scene and then go into the horrible consort games. Yeah. And then go into the tribunal. And basically you get this like high. The way this book goes before we go into book 2 now is that it kind of ends on this craziness that happens. So they win the consort games, no thanks to Reagan. They get pulled into the tribunal where they have to face like Kim, the headmaster Kim. And basically, they're like, Blake, you gave her your blood. Because Blake gives her his blood before the games because he knows Reagan is not going to help her and is going to try to hurt her. And even though it's against the rules, he gives it so that she'll be able to move faster, heal faster, like have a bit of vampire power when she's in the games. And also because to bond, she has to drink his blood, he has to drink hers. He doesn't tell her that part, which is the other downfall of Blake.
Listen,
He's
Blake
tricking
has a
her.
lot of downfalls. He has a
He's
lot of downfalls.
non-consensually
He's
tricking her into a bond, basically.
Blake's not a great guy. He's not a great guy.
Yeah, not great. So they do that. They're in the tribunal. They're like, okay, you guys were right because Reagan broke all these rules. And Blake basically says that he wants to break the betrothed bond with Reagan. She's no longer part of their triad. He's just going to be betrothed to Medra. Yeah. And the uncle agrees, which is surprising. You don't expect him to just be okay with it because he goes against everything Blake does and is always trying to control him. So you know something's up. You don't know what. Yeah. Because he's like, yes, he's made this decision. I'm okay with it. And then they leave it up to her if she wants to kill Reagan because of what she did is worthy of death. And obviously, because she's our female main character, she does not want to kill someone. So she looks at Blake and he makes the decision for her that they'll let her live, but she'll be outcast. Yeah. And so they end that and she's kind of bonding with Blake and they get like this really hot, spicy makeout scene that again gets interrupted. Because he has to go see Victor. And basically, Medra realizes she needs to get her mom out of her mind. She wants to do this blood spell that she's been learning throughout the book to separate her mom. Because her mother, sorry, we forgot to mention this,
I just realized
has been in her head this entire time. She comes to this world and all of a sudden she's got a voice in her head. And she's like, who are you? What are you talking about? And she realizes it's her mother, who she never knew in her old life. But her mother has, in some kind of blood bonding spell, placed herself in her head. And so she's been the whole time at this academy trying to look up ways for blood spells. And this teacher kind of leaves a book to her, kind of curious what she'll do with it, what she might cause to happen. And so she finds a spell that'll release her mom from her head because she's like, this is the right way. We should be separate. We can't live our lives this way. And so she goes to perform this ritual. And before I say this, does the Blake drinking her blood happen? It's after she does the ritual, right? It's kind of like,
it's after.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Just making sure. So she goes to perform the ritual, does it. Her mom gets gone from her head into a dagger. Yeah. And this
that was part of the
stone
ritual.
dragon from the ritual ground wakes up. This big red dragon.
No, he doesn't wake up in that moment. It's just that everything starts to shake.
Everything's shaking and breaking and Blake comes out. But I'm just fast forwarding it. The dragon wakes up. Eventually, she talks in the head. Everyone's freaking out that there's a dragon awake. Blake, basically the way it ends, forces her to let him drink. He bites her. She doesn't want it.
He just bites her.
And then he's like, you have to. This is what we're supposed to do. We are bound to. The ritual's complete. And she's like, what do you mean? You didn't tell me. She uses his compelling to hold her still. Literally, basically rapes her for blood. Not with sex, but with biting and drinking her blood. Forces her to do it so that they're bond, and he will no longer be able to drink from anyone else. He's doing it in his mind to protect her because he's told his uncle that they are completely bonded. And then also because she wakes up a dragon and all the houses are like, the dragon's ours, she's ours. And he's like, no, she's bonded with my nephew, so she's belongs to our house. You guys can't have her.
He makes sure that they are bonded so that neither his uncle, who's Vic's, nor his brother can have her at all.
Yes.
So in the world they're in, what he is doing, his thought pattern, of how he's protecting her and everything by forcing this bond does make sense. Yeah. On his side. Again, this is where he's not a great guy, but you can see his angle and you're sort of like, okay, this has to happen and she's ever going to agree to it. So,
the problem is he doesn't tell his when she's like, what the fuck? And he doesn't apologize and be like, sorry, this is the only way. This thing. He just says, you should want this. That's the problem. He has the inner thought and he doesn't get it out. He just shuts down. And he's like, what do you mean? We are meant to be bonded. Yeah. You are mine. You should be grateful. That. Yeah. And that's her
the problem.
Thing. She was just trying to trust him and like him. And he just refuses to see what he's doing and the problem it causes. Like, it's
Every
so
time.
crazy and frustrating as the reader. 'Cause you're like, oh my God, dude, just like get it together. Like, read the room.
Yeah.
But he does not.
But like,
He can't.
I was shocked when he drank from her
Oh, yeah.
without her consent.
It
That
is a
was
shocking moment. Yes. Like, and how forcefully he does it and how much he doesn't understand how that would affect her. And that, truthfully, he could just talk to her about it. And she may have been more willing, or at least understood before it happened, instead of just doing it. But in his head, he's like, it has to happen now. It has to happen tonight before we go to court. Like, it has to be done.
Yeah. He's so fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now we're on to book 2. So the dragon's awake. We know this. They're blood bonded, and all the houses, everybody's like, there's a dragon back, because this is the first dragon alive in this world in a really long time.
Yes, and the House of Avari's trying to claim it, which is Cage's house, because he's technically their dragon. Yeah. And then and it's not a red dragon, sorry, it's the black dragon. Naraxis? What's his name?
Nyraxis.
Yes. And then they've decided, though, she's like, no, I can bond it. I promise. Like, she makes these promises to them. They're like, we'll give you the summer to bond it. You can stay in the Draco house. And we'll have the tribunal.
She knows she has to. Like, her
she has no choice.
Power
She's going to be
play. If she admits that she does not have any control over this dragon, because, the dragon sort of says to her, like, I don't belong to you at all. You're not my rider.
This is a grumpy dragon. He fully wakes up and is like, thanks, and also peace. See ya.
Yeah.
Like,
thanks. Adios. Like, I'm not killing you right now because you woke me. But otherwise, like, and she's like, she does this whole like super grovelly thing. And he's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Bye.
Sorry. This is not your friendly dragon who's looking to bond a rider. He's just done. So he flies off. She goes to the house. We come back 3 months later. She's basically refused. She only lets like drink from her once a week. On her setting, he comes, he just like holds out a wrist and makes him like drink from that, which to him is very degrading and going, but like he's still just licking his wounds. But the problem is, every time she does this to him, he's just getting madder and madder, and he's making the situation worse and worse. And almost the worse he feels, the more he pushes her away.
Every wrong choice. He makes every wrong choice.
He
fucks
possible.
It up at every turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
He just keeps like hurting her, and in the worst way, and her friends and his friends. Like he's just making himself alone. And basically, the tribunals come up. We're like, oh, what's going to happen? But she's been talking to the dragon over the summer and has promised, because he has no memory of what happened before. So she basically says, if you help me out in this tribunal, I will find answers for you and figure out what happened, how you got caught in the stone, and like what the history was. That's their deal. So he does show up, he helps her, and then when they want the dragon to bow, the dragon refuses and is like badass and blows fire at them and is like, fuck you. And they can't do anything about that. Awesome. And they still also, it's super awesome. And it's kind of what you wish she could do, but she can't. So you have to live
especially
it
because at this point, like after the whole first book and you really know the world and you're into the thing, and then you're at this point in this book, I mean, we hate the fucking vampires in this story. Like, they are the worst. They are evil. We love the Blightborn. We love the dragons. We hate the vampires.
Yes.
Like, we all want to just burn the vampire world to the ground.
Other than the fact they're sexy and super, like, in good shape, we hate them.
Yeah, but, like,
that's their only thing, is that they always look really good.
But, like, everything
as we should.
do.
You should hate vampires. Sorry. We should not be looking to, like, befriend vampires should they exist.
No, we shouldn't. But sometimes, sometimes it's written in a way that, like, you're on their side or whatever. Like, in this one, it's like, no, their whole thing is
and the
vile.
level. So, like, Blake, in his, like, misguided way of, like, trying to get under her skin, get her back. He changed the rule of the house so that people are now allowed to openly feed on their thralls in the living space. Like, before, he made people do it in their rooms and be away because he also found it gross. Remember, he makes out with some other girl in front of her. Like, he does all these
to make her jealous.
Stupid things that makes her not just like, she's just so all it does is like reinforce what she's already feeling and thinking about him, and it's just so dumb.
In the first book, he's very like kind of strong in his assholeness, and you sort of see where it's kind of, in the second book, you just see he's just
petty.
Unravels.
He just
like,
unravels, petty little boy, and you're like, come on, dude. The like scorned ex, and he fully falls apart, which is actually quite funny in retrospect looking at it. Like, he just doesn't know how to handle this or what to do. And he's just everything he's done to help her, he just pulls back. And his own like revenge, and you're like, okay, cool.
When
thing.
is that? Remember this scene where he has somebody fight her again? And like,
Oh yeah, he sets up a class again, like another defense class, gets the biggest, like loudest, most like high blood rah rah dude, like would
annoying.
be like a right Trump supporter guy in the real world
Yeah.
version to like fight her. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Like the guy that would have the muffler over the top of his fucking truck with the thing. You're like,
Totally.
ugh.
And then, but then I love this one. Then the
The
dragon
dragon
flies
flies
in
in
and
to
is like,
save
what the
her.
fuck are you doing to
Yes,
save her?
I love it. Even though he's not bonded with her, he still has
Yeah.
a kinship with her and still has like
Yeah.
a moral compass of right and wrong and doesn't want anyone taking advantage of her.
I really like the relationship with the dragon
Yes.
that develops like through at the end of like throughout this second book.
Yeah.
I also really love how the relationship with the mom is handled and like the way that the mom
Yes.
is in her brain and then in the knife and then like, no, listen, I will always respect, and she gets to learn a little bit about her,
I love
history.
the
And then
mom and the dagger. I think it's so
yeah,
funny. Like it's such a funny
it's so
concept that your
it
mom's in a
is.
dagger. But I
Yeah,
love the relationship, like you're
it's
saying, that
great.
they maintain throughout that. It's so well done.
It's really great. And I really love Neville, the little fluffin who
Yes.
like is how he comes through, because I wouldn't like it if it was just sort of like, here's a cute animal for like animal lovers, because I that's like kind of not my thing actually.
No.
But I love when they're used, like when they're a great tool and like a nice like element in these worlds. And I think that's happens with Neville. And it turns out that fluffins are kind of like dragon caretaker little
Yeah, they're
creatures.
attached to dragons.
Yeah, which is really cool. So then you get this like because as Blake is unraveling, there's also something else that's happening to him, and the Fluffin has always kind of like
Yes.
been sort of drawn to him. And then as we're reading and we learn like, oh, they're always kind of around dragons and dragon riders and stuff, and you're like, okay, but so then what's like the draw to like? And I love like the way that that starts to sort of
Yeah, the foreshadowing that the
lead
Neville
you
gives with Florence and Blake is really cool.
what's
'Cause
gonna
Blake's starting to
happen.
become a dragon. Like he's got scales on his
Yeah,
skin. He has like these different moments that he starts panicking because he sees like dragon scales and things start to come and he doesn't know what's happening. And also in the middle of
yeah.
all this chaos, a wolf has appeared a couple times to start fighting on their behalf.
It gets really exciting, like these elements that come in, because the first book, you're getting the lay of the land at the Dark Academy, like,
Yeah.
and that's great, but it's like, well, I've read that before. So, and then in this second book, you're getting like all of these other layers of this world that like start to come through and
Yes.
play in, and it gets really exciting. And because again, too, because like, yeah, I've read like Dark Academy stuff or fantasy stuff like that before. It's really cozy and fun. And that's where I said to Cord, I was like, oh, I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. Like this, I like this setup that's happening. And then in book 2, I was like, okay, I like that now we're in and we're going further and we're going places that I haven't necessarily seen or experienced, or I have, but they're coming together in different ways, that are really fun. Like
Yeah.
the wolf
The wolf
was so
coming in,
exciting.
the fluff, and like
I didn't see that coming.
I've read vampire books, obviously, but I haven't read. I know they exist, but I haven't read ones with
Mhm.
like the dark romantasy vampire one as pure as like this one in a long time, or at least
Yeah.
in the stuff I've been reading. So I
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed that we get to dive into this world and see what it looks like when
Mhm.
it's, and especially vampire dragon combination. I haven't
Yeah.
read a lot of it. Again, I'm sure it exists, but I haven't read it, and I really love how she took those two dynamics and then made them
Mhm.
almost enemies, but also could work together. And then also it's like the
Yeah.
rise of the bloodborn. It
Blightborn.
yes, sorry. I have so many
Yeah.
words in my head
There's
of different
so
ways to
many.
call people like this, which I think it's like, again, because this stuff has been done so many times. It's great
Mhm.
when there's an author like Briar Boleyn who's able to give this unique spin to it that pulls you in. And honestly, I love all the characters in the books, even the people I hate.
I do.
I love them. Like they're
Yeah.
written so well to be the
They
villain
are.
they are, or to be this role. Even
Yeah.
Reagan, like she has a big arc that happens.
She
And
does.
into the third book, especially. You haven't read it, so
Oh,
I
I
have to remember
bet.
because I have read the third. What's the second? What's the third? But
Yeah.
even when she is, yes, listen, she's the mean girl, but she's
Mhm.
also a badass, like female vampire in power that like fights for what's
Yeah.
hers and what she thinks is right and like stands her ground and is like not just taking this extra consort, which was also thrust upon her, like her role was flipped upside
Yeah.
down. Like that, there is a power in her too, and I love that. Like every female character in these books is written really strongly and like fully developed. Like there's layers to them. It's not just like, and this person doing that. Like Visha, Blake's second in command, who in the first book is the one that beats the crap out of Medra, and then in this book actually becomes her ally because she helped her in the consort games, and they become close. And Theo,
I like how
Blake's
that
cousin.
develops.
And then there's that where Theo is vampire version of gay sleeping with men, and apparently that's still not accepted, even though they live
Only
in a
by
world
his
triad.
uncle
It's just
Victor.
his uncle. It's
accepted
his
by the
house.
rest of the world.
Yeah,
Just
it's
his uncle.
uncle's house, which obviously happens.
Yeah.
So I liked that element of it, and then
Me too.
and then the way of them like feeling out how to protect that and what to do with that and how that works in like a power play of this dynamic. I thought it was really cool. And then I hate like his partner that the guy that he was hooking up with gets like the crap beat out of him and is almost killed.
I know, that was
And it's
terrible.
heartbreaking. And then Theo almost gets killed by Blake's sister. She goes rabbit on them in a carriage and almost drains him to death because she's trying to save Florence.
Yeah.
And then he goes into the hospital, and when he comes to, like, they bring in Jonah to come and like help him and like talk him through, and they work through their stuff, which was a really nice like,
I was
side
glad
story.
that came back.
I
That
was
needed
glad.
to
We
come back
needed
around
a
in a good
win.
way.
We needed something. Naveen
We
was
did.
dead. You know, Florence was like going through that stuff. Like we needed a win somewhere, and we got it with that, which was really nice.
We did.
And then, unfortunately, at the end of the second book, Theo has to kill Amina, Blake's sister, who he's been trying to like protect.
Yeah, she had to die though.
But she did, and it saved him from having to kill her. I never felt bad about it. I know we're probably supposed to, but it was like, no, she does need to be killed. But I didn't want Medra to be the one that had to do it, and I didn't want it to be Blake.
No,
so
that
I was
wouldn't have
glad. I
worked.
was glad that it was Theo.
It had to be Theo, and Theo retribution for what happened. Like it worked out in the right way, but she had to go.
Yeah,
like
she was way too much of a liability and danger.
mhm.
Like she was attacking Kit, she was attacking students, there was just a lot, and the uncle was using her to hold power over Blake and also releasing her at times to like upset things. Like he knew what she would do, and so
He knew.
it was another example of his mind games. Listen, this uncle is a bad dude. There's nothing redeemable about him. So the uncle is this old mastermind that is always playing different games, and they can never get ahead of him. Every time it feels like they may have one step up on him, he is already there. He already has plans or things in action. And there's this big confrontation between Blake and him where he's been asking Blake throughout the book, like, oh, are you feeling weird about anything? Has anything been changing? And Blake has been hiding it and what's going on with the dragon because he doesn't want to reveal to his uncle. But then his uncle gets him so frustrated and angry that Blake fully goes dragon. And we don't really know what happens other than we see the uncle starting to get scared and they're in a battle and Blake fully turns into this massive dragon and they fight. And that's kind of all we know at that point.
It's awesome.
Yes.
When that happens.
It's amazing. It's the battle we've been waiting for, like someone to take out this uncle. And meanwhile, at the same time as that's when Theo has killed Nina because she was going to kill Florence. So we saved Florence, which obviously is when, but then basically Blake and I'm going to say Kanaka again, which is wrong. Cage and the teacher, Mr. Rodriguez, they have decided that they need to get the dragon back into stone because as the teacher has like realized throughout the story, is like it's imbalancing everything. The balance of nature is off. Dragons are supposed to be gone. The whole reason they were put into stone in the first place is they had agreed to it because they needed to restore the balance, and people were doing soul binding with blood to control dragon riders. So vampires were soul binding and then riding the dragons. And they figure out that Victor is trying to plan to do this with Medra. They're planning to get her to bond to the dragons so that they can soul bond with her and she'll lose all of her identity and be stuck and be his slave, which they've also done to this other house's head, Lysander's sister. Like I just realized we missed so many things now that I'm talking about it. I'm like,
not
oh, right.
really. No,
but basically,
that's
she was soul bonded. Yeah, she
got
got soul bonded to the brother, and he now controls her. And they're trying to raise up this other dragon at the same time that the other three came out to like put Nexus back into stone. Yeah. And Blake is like, we can't do this. Him and Medra have been bonding throughout this book, and they finally got to a place that they have sex, and he bites her, and it's the first time it doesn't hurt, and it's actually enjoyable, and she orgasms for it. This like super spicy, delicious scene, and he's like, "This is how it was supposed to be. This is what blood bonding," which then irks her again in the reminder of like, "Well, there's a reason, bud, that this wasn't happening. And you forced me to do this." But he does get to the arc of like apologizing almost by the end of the book for how he was treating her, and he starts to redeem himself. And that's where this big battle with his uncle comes in, because he doesn't want him to try to take over Medra. And they've hidden, but he's hidden, and he has said, like, I don't want to hide this from her. I don't want to keep this from her. But they're like, we have to. It's the only way. And he knows this is going to like break her and what they've already built back up, the tenuous relationship that they have, like the ground they've gotten to. And he knows what's going to happen. And basically she goes, and he's not there because he's battling the uncle. But Cage and the teacher let it slip, like, where the fuck is Blake? And she's like, oh God, he knew about this. Because she's obviously does not want to turn the dragon back in stone. She's fighting them. This big explosive end of book scene that basically Florence almost dies, gets shot. The brother and the crazy chick Carolyn, who's one of the other house leaders, and the sister of Lysander, they get the golden dragon awake, but something's off with her. She's like a half dead, half alive dragon that's being like
because they use necromancy, which is one of the powers. Yeah,
which doesn't work, as everyone always says. Never a good magic to use. Work in every book, every story, every folktale. You never want to go with necromancy. No. And the mom in the dagger is like, let me get in there with her. I will stab me into the dragon, and I will take over. I will save you. And she realizes her mom's going to be gone. She does, and the mom enters the dragon and then is battling her and the girl who's soul bonded to her. And she's like, I've got her. I'm going to fly her away from you and save you. I'm just really upset that she's going to say bye to her mom, but she's like, no, this is the way. I've got to do this. She takes the dragon with the other two and the girl that's soul bonded to her. They fly off. And we're left with Blake arriving late. Florence is almost dead.
The
teacher is almost dead. Cage is in a wolf form. All this being revealed. And then she begs. The teacher says there's one way to save your friend, but the dragon would have to bond with her. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
She's very clever. She's a great, like, clever, brave soul, but it's not enough. I refuse. I will not be bound. Like, that's his hard line through the whole 2 books is like, I will not bond to someone ever again. It's not worth that to my soul. But then Neville shows up, and Neville has a conversation with him, and he's like put him in his place, and he's like, how dare you talk to me like that? And like they have a whole thing, and Neville's like so disappointed in him that he won't say Florence who he's bonded. So finally Nexus agrees to appease Neville, which is like the cutest thing.
It's amazing.
And bonds Florence. And that's kind of like where it's ending.
That's where we end.
That's where we end.
Literally, you end like on the messy battlefield of all of this stuff that happened, and you realize you're like, oh my gosh, okay, now we're going into book 3 with Blake can turn into a dragon. Cage has been the whole time aware that he can turn into a wolf.
Yes.
Florence is now a bonded dragon rider with Naraxis. Yes. There is now a gold dragon out there that is like necromancy to live, bonded to Lysander, whatever, sister. Who seems like a really sweet person. Actually, if she had her own mind, she'd be fine.
Yes.
And Medra's mom in there.
Yes. And his brother and Caroline, who are two, like off the hinge, like.
And Victor is dead.
We think, yes,
because Blake killed him. When Blake was in his dragon form, and that's where we end before we go into book 3, and you're just kind of like, damn.
Oh, and Blake's missing an eye. Blake shows up with one eye.
Yes, Blake is missing an eye. I mean, like from the battle with his dad. Yeah. Oh, and we also know that Reagan has agreed to be bonded with to like marry Victor.
Reagan has been like rising back. She's been trying to get back with Blake. Doesn't happen, and then she's now betrothed to Victor, which is at the end of it. There's like, this is all that happens. So like in these 2 books, and so it becomes a lot about what's happening in the books when we're covering 2 of them. But like what's so fun about this series is all of that is in these 2 books. But it's such a ride. Like, it doesn't feel like you're, like, wading through all of this stuff to get to it. Like, you're just on the ride. You're on the adventure. You, like, hop in and you're in. And I love...
You hop in and you're in. And it's actually, like, pretty, like, cozy academia, you know, kind of thing. Like, it's really fun in that way. And all of these stuff that is built up in the world, some of it we've seen before, some of it's new. It's mixed in a fresh way. Like, it's really fun.
It's a really great, like, morally gray shadow daddy that is Blake. And you really are on the fence with him a lot. It's not like the morally gray guy where he's an asshole, but you're like, okay, but he's hot. Like, in book 2, for a lot of it, you do not like him. Like, you are not, like, rooting for him for stuff. Like, you really do get pulled back. But the redeeming arc, when they do start to bond and they do get into the scenes that we were
Yeah.
talking about, like, it is hot, and it is you
so hot.
follow along with her, and
Yeah.
I understand where she gets to with him, because you've also had his POV
Yes.
throughout the book. So you've
Yeah.
had an understanding of why he's doing the things he's doing.
Yeah.
Again, not healthy, but it makes sense. And so you get to enjoy when they
Exactly.
finally get to these scenes, which we were talking about. So these scenes, as you were saying, Kate, put you back to a 3.5 in book
Mhm.
2.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And
Yeah.
I agree. I put them in 3.5, 4, because I can't. There's one in particular about when they're doing it and with the blood sharing, and like just how much
I mean,
the
it's
details of how much more it enhances for
yeah.
orgasms and going. Like, it's very detailed. And I just remember it
Mhm.
being really hot when reading that scene. Like,
Yeah.
it really.
I mean, these books are like unexpectedly spicy.
Yes.
Because they're so dark
Yeah.
in places, and then other places you're just like you're in school. And then
Yeah.
and then that sex scenes are
Hot.
hot.
It
Like when
takes
they come
big
through.
swings, but they all work. And that's
Yeah.
what's so great about it, and so great
They
about
all
Briar
work.
Boleyn. It
So
all works really well together. It's a great read.
it's a 3.5, 4. I mean, these books I'm gonna set them for me at a 4 pumpkin, these
Yeah.
books. I think they're really up there, which is fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Um,
I'll
yeah.
put 3.75. That's where I'll go with them.
There you go.
But they're very
I
spicy.
mean,
They're
now
super fun.
but not like throughout,
Yep.
because this is a romantasy. There's a lot of world stuff. There's a lot of that. Like
Yeah.
this isn't just like nonstop spice that we're getting here. But when you get it, it's
good.
spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a little different every time, and there's extra
And
elements
there's
in
a
there,
lot of like
and it's
sensual
fun.
stuff happening around all the time, even with the thrall people. Like,
Yes,
there's a different like
there's a lot.
energy in these kind of worlds.
Yeah.
So that part is done really, really well. And it's really
Uh,
it's fun.
yeah.
It's fun to dive into
Yeah,
these.
these are like fun dark academy books.
Yeah.
Like they're not heavy, they're easy reads, but worth it. But
Yeah.
like, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. I'm very glad that Court was like, no, read them, let's do this. Like, I'm very glad that we're in and we're doing it. I'm glad I'm like caught up now. I mean, I know book 3 came out and you've like already, but like I feel now like, okay, now I can read that one.
Yes.
I'm not,
I
like,
know, and I'm trying to remind myself
running.
what happens in book 3 to like stop from getting too far,
I
because
know.
it's hard to remember,
Yeah.
because it all goes together so well. It's such a fun,
Mhm.
well-written series. So I'm super
Yes.
excited.
And I believe it's designed to be 4
It
books.
is 4,
I
yeah.
think. So
Definitely.
that'll be fun too. I
Yeah.
like when something is designed to have its wrap up as well.
Yes. Yeah, when they know where it's
Which is
going.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
a prequel series to this series, actually. There's a
There
4-book
is.
completed prequel series that you can find at Briar Boleyn's, and it's all on Kindle Unlimited as well, that you
Mhm.
can read along and get into
You
the
can.
characters of her aunt and uncle
Yes.
that we don't really see.
It's
It's
set in
before.
the fake world that Maedra came from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which I think is cool. I
Super
like that.
cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
that's
Well,
Lords of
that's
Blood.
it for today's episode of Kate and Court's Cozy Corner, talking about the first 2 books in the Wings of Blood series by
Yeah.
Briar
The
Boleyn,
Bloodwing Academy
the
series. Is that what it's called? Bloodwing Academy?
Bloodwing Academy
Yes.
series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. By Briar Boleyn, I probably said blood something else because there's a few blood
Yeah.
books.
But these ones, and even the cover, I don't have it here today with me. The covers of these books are so cool. With the dragons, and then they have the scales on the edges. It's beautiful.
Oh,
They've done a great job with
nice.
these books too. Yes.
Nice.
grabbing.
Nice. So yeah, so we highly recommend them if you're looking for a dark academia, dragons and vampires. Who isn't looking
Right.
for that? With a 4 pumpkin spice level. Dive in.
Yeah.
Catch up. We're going to be coming back at you with book 3 really later next month.
Yes.
To give me time to read it. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, that's it for today's episode. Thanks again for joining us on Kate and Court's Cozy Corner, Romance Readers. We'll be back again soon talking about more books with you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Settle in and grab a book, a comfy chair, your favorite nook with Kate and Court. Yeah, it's the Cozy Corner.
You know the drill. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to our podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to Kate and Court's Cozy Corner Romance Readers.
Executive producers and hosts, Caitlin Stryker and Courtney Richter. Producers, Kanesha No and Holly Lebowski. Original music, Cassie DeSilva.